Nadine, tell me, how did you start the NGO?
I'm originally a lawyer, and I had worked with different international organizations in Beirut and with one embassy in Beirut to do development work. And then I moved back to Akkar because Akkar is my hometown and I love Akkar and I wanted to do something in Akkar. So I worked on an international funded project for Akkar, and I found that sometimes the projects that come from international organizations are not always responding to the needs of the area. So me and my friends, we said, let's do a small NGO to do some work in Akkar and really benefit the people and take advantage of the needs of the area and give the people what they need. And this is how A&D started. When A&D started, we were thinking that we will do some small projects for youth, with municipalities. We never expected to have the Syrian crisis. We never expected to have the big influx of refugees coming to Lebanon. And we never thought that we will be doing this humanitarian work. But when we had this crisis and we were starting to work with the people, we noticed that we could not just say we're gonna be only serving the Lebanese, because certain needs are for everyone and rights are for everyone. Children and women need to be protected, whether they're Lebanese, non-Lebanese, no matter what the nationality is. Certain rights are due for people, and we as Lebanese, we are bound to respect those rights and to help people and support them. And this is where we started working with responding to the needs of the Syrian crisis. We currently focus a lot on, as I told you, on gender-based violence, and we focus a lot on child protection. Our services are open for everyone. So whomever needs support, we can provide for them. But when we started A&D, it was not, we wanted to be there, but we never thought that we would be able to do all of this.
Nadine, how many Syrians are here in Akkar?
You don't have an accurate figure that goes into each and every town of Akkar, but you have an estimate of around more or less 100,000 refugees in Akkar, noting that Akkar as a whole is around 400,000 Lebanese. So usually this is the number that we have. It fluctuates, sometimes it goes down, because the numbers that we have are for registered refugees. We don't have the numbers of each and every refugee because sometimes they don't register. But you need to pay attention that Akkar is hosting this large number, even though Akkar is one of the poorest areas of Lebanon. Even before the Syrian crisis, before the refugees, Akkar was one of the biggest poverty pockets in the country. So what makes Akkar even more vulnerable is the fact that this is a poor area that is also hosting refugees. And when you have refugees, you have additional services to be provided, from water to electricity to education to health services, all of this, whereas the infrastructure in Akkar cannot afford all of that.
Yes. NGO, what are the works that you provide for the refugees?
We do a lot of work for Lebanese, and we do a lot of work for Lebanese and Syrians. So for example, the area where we're going to now, which is the coastal area of Akkar, what we call Sahel Akkar, or the valley, the plain of Akkar, is where we provide big two projects. So we have one that talks about gender-based violence for women and adolescent girls, and we have one for children and their caregivers. What we provide for the children, because you have supported now the children, we are providing them with educational support. So we give basic literacy and numeracy. Some of them do not know how to write and count, and this is for both Lebanese and refugees. We provide some homework support, because some of them, even if they are registered in the school, but they don't know how to do their homework and their parents cannot help them. So we provide this help so that they can pass and go and have a better future for them. We provide psychosocial support. When I say psychosocial support, so we have different curriculum with our partners. We have different curriculum where we can give them psychological support in a way of playing. So it's not only them talking to a psychotherapist, it's also when we have a group, we try to spread good messages, we try to give them good tips on how they cope with their situation, and we do that through different curricula that we have with our partners. So our child protection project is implemented with two international organizations called Plan International, World Child Holland, and we have another partner who implements it in Beqa as well, called LOST. It's funded by ECHO, the humanitarian agency of the European Union, and this is where we're providing all this support for the children. We have also positive parenting for the parents, because even if we work with the children, if the parents do not know how to do positive parenting and do not help the kids, we cannot get them to a better future, especially that in this area we have a lot of children who work in agriculture. We have child labor, and this is where we try to give them some support in terms of education, in terms of psychological support, because it is not easy for children not to be able to play, not to be able to get educated, not to be able to dream of a better future. This is what we're trying to give them. We're trying to give them the possibility of changing their lives on a later stage.
And what do you think that is the most sad situation for them?
I mean, when you talk to them, they all say, we hope we go back to Syria. And I truly hope that the refugees can go back to Syria and live a decent life. The thing that, I mean, for me, I'm a little bit biased for girls. I feel bad for the girls who cannot have an education, who get married when they are very young. And sometimes you see a girl who's 15 years old or 16 years old who's carrying a child. For me, this is something that makes me sad, because I see a child who is carrying a child, and this is where I feel that two lives are not getting the possibilities. The young mother who is not getting the possibility to live her childhood, and the small baby who might not be taken well care of because simply she doesn't know. So for me, having the kids who are married very early, this is one of the saddest thing I see. The other saddest thing I see is when you have also kids who dream. For example, you ask a boy, what do you want to become? What would you dream of being? Someone tells you, I want to be an engineer, I want to be an architect, but I cannot because I'm working. And I think these are, what makes me sad mostly is the young people who see that they don't have a hope, they don't have a future. This is where you feel how much privileged you are, because you have the possibilities. You have had parents who were able to support you, who were able to let you dream, and you feel bad because some other kids are not being able to have that. This is where personally I feel sad.
My Instagram, the Project Salam, they ask how they can help us and how they can help the NGO.
I think first and foremost, what we hope to see an end to the fight in Syria.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, maybe the political pressure to have the end of the fights in Syria so that refugees can go back to Syria and Lebanon can work on its developments. That's the first thing. The second thing is always remembering that there are children who are not being able to go to school. There are schools who are not being able to absorb this number of children. And I mean, just what you did, giving the children now the books to read, giving the children the games, because we try as much as we can to do this, but sometimes those extracurricular activities are not always funded. Having the fun activities for the kids is something essential for the kids to grow up. The right to play is something essential. So any help, any support that can give us the means to give these possibilities to the children are more than welcome. So Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Salam Project. Thank you for each and everyone who supported the Salam Project, whether by buying the product, by helping in the marketing, by supporting Georgia and Manu. And hopefully, this is the first time you're here. Hopefully, we're gonna see you again and again. And if anybody wants to support us, please, Salam Project is our reliable partner in Brazil. Hopefully, we can see much more of you here and in much better times. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Enquanto as crianças vão se organizando pra gente dar os presentes, eu vou mostrar um pouco pra vocês da vida aqui no campo dos refugiados. Vem comigo.
So this is one of the informal tented settlements in Akkar. You can see here, these are where they live. This is one of the latrines that they use as a restroom. And usually a lot of these people here live here together. So this will be for one family. It's where they sleep, where they cook, where they eat, they do everything. So each tent is like their own house for everything. So this is one example. Most of them, they would be working in the land around here. And this is a small informal settlement. Some of them are much larger and much bigger.
A gente vai conhecer.
Peraí, vai.
E agora a gente vai conhecer como que é dentro de uma tenda.
لا هون مين قاعد؟ هاي هاي حمام.
Cute. Girl. It's nice. They have Georgia. Fala.
بس الأرض مسموحة في أوقات هيدول موجودين.
Okay. Room.
هونيك المطبخ.
How many people lives here?
كم شخص عايش هون؟
7.
9.
9 people. Olha, tem banheiro. Ô, Georgia, então você tem que explicar.
So, how many people lives inside the house?
9.
Gente, 9 pessoas moram dentro dessa casa, mas assim, ela explicou pra gente que essa casa tem uma condição um pouco melhor, porque tem energia e o chão ele é com cimento. Tem casas que nem é com cimento, é totalmente, você tá pisando na pedra.
E aí fala do neném.
E os quartos são todos assim, a casa não tem quase nada. Como vocês podem ver, tem até um bebê dormindo no chão. E é tudo assim, simples.
E mostra a cozinha.
E a cozinha é mais simples ainda. E é tudo junto, sem porta, sem nada.
Aqui a cozinha, a gente vê. E ali a gente vê que eles têm um lugar para tomar banho. Olha lá. Tem um lugar para tomar banho. Ok.